Campaigning continues in several key races ahead of the primary election in August in Florida. Now, they include the special election for Jacksonville Sheriff.
I'm going to rally the citizens of Jacksonville to make sure we put pressure on the city when they're in that contract negotiation to renew that contract with the Fraternal Order Police, and you're going to get your paid for civilian review boards.
Tony Cummings joins us midway through our conversations with each of the candidates on our show. Congressional districts were revamped this year, and some politicians are hoping for promotions. One of the candidates for Congress is with us today. Plus, Chris Hand will talk through the important votes on This Week in Jacksonville. And thank you for joining us on this final day of July. So in 3 weeks and 2 days, it is Election Day in Florida's primary. Things continue changing concerning seats that will represent Jacksonville in Congress. I think they're finalized now, but maps, you saw it this spring, they were drawn, then redrawn, approved, then vetoed, then signed into law, then blocked by the courts, then finalized finally for this election cycle. Joining us right now, LaShonda L.J. Holloway. Welcome back to our show. It's good to see you again. Likewise. You are running in. Initially, it was CD5. Now it's this new Congressional District 4, 3 counties represented. You just told me before we started our interview, you were going to run to represent people. It didn't matter what that map looked like. Is that right?
That is correct. I'm a 4th generation Floridian, and so what I care about is that the people of the United States of America have a more perfect union. And of course, I am disappointed that Black voters in Congressional District 5 were marginalized or disenfranchised, if you will. However, as I stated, you know, I'm a 4th generation Floridian, and I have run to represent the people, regardless of the number. The goal is for Americans to be represented in Washington and have a voice who is not only competent, but who is also courageous and understand the needs of the people. This is not my first time running. I run because I genuinely love the people, and I care about the lack of representation that so many people feel that they don't have in Washington.
So there was a lot of discussion with the redistricting and the new maps, and based on 2020 census data and so on. This district that you're in, so 3 different counties it's Nassau, it's Clay, and then it's west side of Duval County. And when we were going through this and it was controversial, what we were hearing was, hey, this was drawn to favor Republicans. How do you feel about that, running as a Democrat in this primary?
Well, I mean, certainly I believe in the will of the people. And as you will recall, the people of Florida voted for fair districts. So, of course, I will not only govern and legislate for the will of the people, but I do believe it should be fair. And unfortunately, this governor decided that he would draw 20 districts for Republicans and 8 for Democrats. But what we need is the United States of America, and we need for people to be represented. And of course, I want people to be represented fairly, and that's why I am running for the newly drawn 4th Congressional District.
So you say something on your website I wanted to ask about. The website says, "United we win." So who do you want to unite, and how do you do that?
I want to unite the American people. I believe what the American people want is not only leadership, but they also want statesmanship. But we also are tired of the fighting, the partisanship. I don't care if you are red or blue. I want to represent all of the people of the newly drawn 4th Congressional District. I mean, we know that statesmanship really is the ability to represent all people from the United States. So we need to have not only an electorate who understands that, because when I worked on Capitol Hill for Congresswoman Carrie Meek, let me tell you what happens in the members' dining room. We know that there are mills, or bill mills, if you will, you know, who are run by lobbyists, and they are colleagues and they are friends in the members' dining room. But you have people who live next door to each other in the district who will not speak to each other based upon partisanship. And what all Americans want, I believe, is to be able to retire with security, make sure that they're safe, and make sure that their children has a quality education. At the end of the day, I believe that's what most Americans want.
So certainly in these last several years, we've seen this divide. It's been divisive. That's how you get to a divide, right? Mm-hmm. So how? That's the big question. How do you unify people? Is it being centrist? Is it saying, yeah, I'm running as a Democrat, but I'm willing to work with both sides? What are the things that make unity happen?
That's exactly what it is. It's listening to the will of the people, regardless of whatever party they identify with. I believe that all people bleed, so I am not necessarily in love with labels. I am in love with people and making sure that their interests are adequately represented.
So how do you address these big issues that are out there? News4Jax insiders have been telling us what you think the big issues are. How do you address, for instance, the economy?
Well, the first thing we have seen right now, just this week, we saw the interest rates go up. The Federal Reserve increased the interest rates. And so we know that they raised those rates to try and keep us from going into a recession. And people every day are complaining about not only gas prices, but the prices at the pump. We recently had a diaper drive because diapers have gone up, personal products have gone up. Everything has gone up. So what we need to make sure we do is not only make sure that we have jobs for Americans, but jobs that Americans can afford to live with. Because unfortunately, there are too many working poor in this country, and we see that billionaires pay less taxes than people who are in the middle class. We see the middle class shrinking. Every cycle, we see that the middle class is shrinking, and the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer.
So 1 minute or less, if elected, how do you want Congress to address what we saw happen from the Supreme Court a month ago and getting rid of Roe v. Wade?
So what I would hope is that Congress would codify that decision, because I don't believe that the government should be in person's bedrooms, nor should the government be in person's doctor's office. I believe in the fundamental right to privacy, and I do believe that as a member of Congress, as a future member of Congress, and as the only legislative body that can codify Roe v. Wade, I would hope that the body will vote to codify Roe.
And one of the things we've talked about, your background, you've got a law degree.
Yes, I do.
Going to Congress, it's to write laws or to, to
exactly,
see that. So that
exactly.
makes sense from your perspective.
It
right?
makes sense, exactly, because Congress, of course, we're a nation of laws, right? And 45% of the members of Congress have law degrees. So you want people to represent you who are not only qualified, but who can sit at the table and make sure that those laws that will not pass constitutional muster do not get past committee and become a bill.
Got to be more effective. LaShonda L.J. Holloway running for Congressional District 4. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, the primary coming up here in just a few weeks.
Thank you so very much for your time.
So we continue bringing you the candidates for sheriff in Jacksonville. Dr. Tony Cummings is here. He's going to join us next on This Week in Jacksonville.
I was driving home from practice, and I remember seeing this car coming right towards me, and a huge, loud, I knew with my injuries that I wasn't going to be able to play. Having my career cut short by a drunk driver was the worst part of my life. I knew if there was, one firm to get me justice and to get me compensated for that, it was going to be Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has definitely really helped me in the toughest, darkest moments of my life. Those guys were there for me. I'm Chandler Parsons, and I chose Morgan & Morgan.
For TK Waters, serving others and giving back is a way of life. A husband, father, grandfather, and leader, TK shares our community values. With more than 30 years as a police officer, detective-in-chief, TK is the most experienced candidate for sheriff. He'll add officers to the street, foster greater trust through transparency and open communication, and ensure taxpayer money is always spent wisely. TK Waters, the trusted, experienced leader we need for sheriff.
When life gets wild, get wilder. And when the days heat up, splash down. Twist, turn, and chill out at Splash Island Water Park and Wild Adventures. Drench yourself in over 1 million gallons of summer fun. Explore 170 acres of rides and slides and discover over 100 exotic animals. Wild times call for wild adventures. Plan your visit today at wildadventures.com.
If you spent time on base at Camp Lejeune prior to 1988 and developed any of these cancers or suffered any of these injuries, you may be eligible for significant financial compensation.
Leaking underground tanks contaminated the drinking water with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals.
There have been numerous reported cases of exposed personnel developing cancer and other serious health conditions. Call Camp Lejeune victims to discuss your case now.
800-749-0789.
California liberal Christina Meredith can't be trusted. She doesn't live in our district or vote in Republican primaries. She didn't vote for President Trump or Governor DeSantis. But Meredith does take campaign cash from the Democrat donors bankrolling Biden and Pelosi's radical agenda. Christina Meredith, too liberal to be trusted. But conservatives can trust prosecutor Jessica Baker. She's pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, endorsed by John Rutherford and our first responders. Conservative Jessica Baker will fight for us.
Facts have never been more important than now. They can be the difference between life and death. Rely on the Trust Index, your first line of defense against disinformation. Just look for the seal. It's true means it passed the test, and we can back it up. Not true means it's fake. Don't trust it. And be careful means not entirely right or wrong, but it could be risky. In the battle against disinformation, no fact is off the table. If it seems suspicious, send it to us and we'll get answers. The Trust Index, only on News 4 Jax.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
We knew voters would elect a new sheriff in Jacksonville in 2023. Then suddenly this summer, Mike Williams left office, and Jacksonville would need to elect a new sheriff next month or in November. We're interviewing all 5 candidates on our show, and joining us today, Dr. Tony Cummings. It's a pleasure to see you again. You've run in a race for sheriff twice before. Tell us why you're running again and what's different this time. Why should voters say, that's my guy?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm running for sheriff of Jacksonville because I feel the pain of the citizens everywhere I go across the First Coast. In 2015, I stood on the stage at Jacksonville University Public Policy Institute, and I told the citizens of Jacksonville that the city was hemorrhaging from violent crime. Fast forward to 2022, the city's hemorrhaging from violent crime. We've seen back-to-back homicide records. In 2019, 162 homicides. We broke that record in 2020 with 176 homicides. We've seen 3 years consecutively in a row with more than 100 murders, 400 shootings every year. 70% of our homicides go unsolved, which is unacceptable. We went from 10th in the nation to 6th in the nation in traffic homicides. So we have a lot of work to do. The citizens responded in 2019 when I ran for sheriff for the second time. 56,780 voters said, hey, we want change. And I think those voters still want that change, and I'm here to bring it to them.
So, Dr. Cummings, educationally, you got a long resume, bachelor's degrees, master's, a doctorate of education and organizational leadership. Help people understand, what would you bring in terms of leadership to being sheriff?
Okay, leadership. I like to see the men and women of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office go back to their founding oath to protect and serve the citizens' interests. I don't want them bogged down in the politics of everything. They need to be focused on protecting and serving the citizens of Jacksonville. And I bring that leadership from my old military background in the Army, where I held a top secret clearance and was with the U.S. State Department. Very proud of my service at that time. So I walked inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a supervisor out of an elite unit. I want to bring that type of discipline to the agency. And if the sheriff and his administration understands the need for discipline in the ranks, it's going to go all the way down to the most rookie officer on the department, and we'll be a better community as a result.
Really top to bottom is what you're describing. You know, so you described earlier this crisis we have with crime. How does a sheriff address crime in an area as large as Duval County, and what are the steps to making that happen?
That's an excellent question. First, we have to regain the trust of the citizens. The citizens have always been the missing link to solving this crime problem in Jacksonville. And we just can't tell them, see something, say something, or call Crime Stoppers. We have to provide them with a seat at the table. And I intend to do that with the Public Accountability Office inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for the first time in its history. Now, Fort Myers, St. Petersburg, Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta, those other municipalities were bold enough to go forward with these steps to rebuild that trust that broken trust between the police and the citizens in their community, and we can do the same.
So I hear each candidate talking about, hey, it's really important to build or rebuild these relationships in the community. That's such a key. But if everybody knows that, then why hasn't that already happened?
Well, it's been decades that the trust has been broken between the police and the citizens in Jacksonville, especially some of the harder hit areas that are suffering from this violent crime. The situation with JSO and the public is no different than a marriage. If you break that trust, you have a hard time regaining that trust with your spouse.
And we've broken that trust with the citizens of Jacksonville a long time ago, and we haven't worked hard enough to regain that trust. And the only way we're going to be able to get that trust back now is to offer them a seat at the table and allow them to verify what it is we're doing with that $500 million of resources that they're providing us to keep them safe. I want to give them accountability and oversight over our policies and procedures and our operations so they can feel comfortable that we're doing the best that we can to serve their community.
And just briefly, I've heard you speak about this before, but do you support having a citizens review board, especially when it comes to police-involved shootings or deaths?
100%. A citizen review board, unlike any other review board that you might hear, a citizen review board allows the citizens to basically have oversight and look into some of those high-profile cases that often go unpunished by the Civil Service Board review or the state attorney's office, or some of those officers, that 1% to 2% of bad officers that are making our profession look terrible across the nation. The citizens will get a chance to review that. And this notion that the citizens do not understand what law enforcement does is absurd, because the foundation of our criminal justice system is based on the jury system. So the jury, if it's good enough for our criminal justice system, it's good enough for our police department.
So probably only time for this final question,
sure.
And maybe a minute left here. But many candidates would say, hey, there's a gang problem. That's where this violent crime issue is. I've heard you say you disagree with that characterization. Why?
I strongly disagree. I used to work undercover with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office on Narcotics Division. I worked alongside of the gang unit, which was started up by the former sheriff, I think about in 2008. And our methodology was flawed from the beginning, and I spoke out against it then, and I speak out against it now. I'm gonna give you an example. 3 individuals at 3rd and Moncrief, they're playing basketball. Officer would roll up on them with a field investigative report, ask their name, do they have tattoos, their race, and those type of things. And that field investigative report would be turned over to his supervisor at the end of the shift, and that's the 3rd Street Gang. It's just that simple. It's a flawed methodology. It was flawed from the beginning. And if you're tasked with starting up a unit, then you have some sort of interest in the success of that unit. Whether you're collecting the data properly or not. And I think that's what happened. We had a flawed methodology.
I'm going to squeeze in one more question, final 30 seconds. How would you change or handle the budget differently for JSO? You've talked in the past a lot about the way money's spent.
Well, first and foremost, we don't need $37 million, okay, more. We need new management and leadership, and I intend to bring that to the sheriff's office. The 80% of that $500 million it goes to salaries of the officers and their benefits. What we do with those officers matter. How we deploy them in your community matter. And I'm going to make sure that we use sound judgment with the help of the public when we deploy these officers in real time.
And I hate to cut you off, but you're saying you'd make changes. I appreciate hearing from you, Dr. Tony Cummings, one of our candidates, and want to let you know that we plan to speak with each of the candidates for sheriff here on the show prior to the special election on August 23rd. You heard from Wayne Clark and TK Waters last week, Dr. Cummings today, and we'll speak with Lakeisha Burton and Ken Jefferson on our next show, which is Sunday, August 7th. And then all 5 sheriff's candidates coming together on one stage, August 10th. News for Jax and Jacksonville University bringing you a live primetime debate at 8 p.m. You can watch on Channel 4, online at news4jax.com, and streaming on News4Jax Plus. All right, stay with us. We are talking about the big issues and races on the ballot in August. Chris Hand joins us for our Hand on Government segment. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Tracy Davis voted to cut $550 million from Medicaid. Why? Nobody knows. Did it matter to her that it was devastating to the elderly, the poor, and the most vulnerable here in Florida? Doesn't seem like it. Tracy Davis seems to think Florida can't afford Medicaid. Well, Florida can't afford Tracy Davis.
It's the weekend, and we know accidents can happen anytime. That's why we're here for you 24/7. Don't wait until Monday. Call Farah & Farah.
A new Chevy is the smart way to hit the open road this summer. The smart way to road trip and seek new adventures. Go a little farther this summer in a new Chevy. Find new get up and go, find new roads. Enjoy the open road. Well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing. or get a $12.50 cash allowance on all 2022 Equinox models. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
Donating to Goodwill fuels the programs that help people find employment in our very own neighborhood. Feel good by doing good. Donate to Goodwill of North Florida. We are Goodwill, removing barriers to employment.
Each week, Channel 4 recognizes the Snyder All-Star Athlete. If you'd like to nominate a student for recognition during the next school year, go to news4jax.com and look for All-Star Athlete under the Sports tab.
3 red flags that your online sale is a scam. Monday.
Everyone has Black Friday deals for the holidays, but only one store has them now. It's Black Friday in July at Bears Furniture, with in-stock deals so good we couldn't wait till November. Right now, get store-wide savings of up to 70% off or more with interest-free financing available. Unbeatable doorbusters, like your choice of 2 stylish chairs marked down 70%, or our best-selling Italian leather sofa, just $11.97. Black Friday comes early this year. Where? Bears.
At Harrell & Harrell, we're focused on helping people. You can be minding your own business one second, and the next second, you're the victim of somebody else's negligence. If this happens to you, call Harrell & Harrell, 251-1111.
Joe Biden's policies are destroying America. Out of control inflation, skyrocketing crime. Northeast Florida needs to fight back. With Aaron Bean in Congress, we will. Bean's plan will stop Biden's inflation, putting more money in our families' pockets. And Bean will always defend and never defund our police. Stop Joe Biden. Send Aaron Bean to Congress. Keep Florida Red PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Chris Hand is with us once again, author, government law attorney, someone passionate about citizen engagement. And Chris, Georgia voters, they already had their primary. Florida voters, it's coming up this month. And a lot of people say, primary, they don't go out to the polls. You and I have been talking. There are some reasons that people, especially Duval County, should be planning on it, right?
Well, Ken, you're absolutely right. And if you look at the historical turnout numbers for these primaries, back in 2010, turnout was about 22%. In 2014, it was 17%. Came up a little bit in 2018, it was 28%. And that's unfortunate because this August, there are a number of very important races on the ballot, some that are very competitive and some that will be decisive, races, contests that will be determined in the primary, even before you get to a general election. So very important that people get out and vote either by mail or through early voting or on election day itself.
We just heard from a candidate for sheriff. There are 5 of them. And here in August for special election, it rolls in there. The top 2, probably, unless somebody gets more than 50%, they'll move on to November, right?
That's right. And we're not used to seeing these city of Jacksonville elections in the fall. Yeah. Typically, those are held in March and May of the odd-numbered year. But because there's a vacancy in that office, City Council scheduled a special election. The 5 candidates will run in our unitary system. They all appear on the ballot together. Some are Democrats, one is a Republican. And as you say, if no one gets 50% plus 1, the top 2 finishers will move on to the November general election. But remember, they will only be filling that vacated term. So they'll be in office until July 1st. There will be another election in March and May of 2023 to decide who serves as sheriff from July 2023 through June 2027.
Also in Duval County, a couple of things pertaining to the school district. So a couple of school board seats that are up, and then this school board referendum, which is about raising the millage rate in order to pay higher salaries, recruit people, retain people in the school district.
Well, that's right, Kent. Just last week, it was reported that the Duval County School Board and other school districts throughout Northeast Florida have hundreds of teacher vacancies just a couple of weeks before the next school year starts, and the lion's share of those are right here in Duval County. So earlier this year, the Duval County School Board put on the August ballot a referendum asking voters if they want to raise their millage, their property tax rate, by 1 mil to help fund teacher pay as a way of dealing with that teacher shortage crisis. But as you say, that's not the only school board issue on the ballot. There are 2 school board races, both of which are getting significant not only local but state and national attention as well. In District 2, school board member Elizabeth Anderson is being challenged by April Carney. In School Board District 6, incumbent member Charlotte Joyce is being being challenged by Tanya Hardacre. So two very high-profile races that obviously have a huge impact on the lives of anyone who's a teacher, a student, a family of a student here in town. As we've seen over the last couple of years, the school board has been dealing with very significant issues, from education to public health to now this teacher shortage to building new schools. It's a very important role, and those two races will be on the ballot in August.
So some contested races that we'll see. We had a candidate for the Democratic primary for a congressional district for this new district. There are two candidates there, three candidates on the Republican side in that new district. Also on the statewide level, we're seeing a pretty hotly contested campaign for governor here on the Democratic side.
Well, that's right. Obviously, the incumbent governor is Ron DeSantis, who's a Republican. He's already advanced to the general election. There are two Democratic candidates running. One is Congressman and former Governor Charlie Crist from the Tampa Bay area. The other is Florida Agriculture and Consumer Services Commissioner Nikki Fried, who's also running for that office. It's become a very hotly contested primary. That will be decided on August 23rd. Which of those two will advance to the November general election to take on Governor DeSantis?
Yeah, by the way, we do have Nikki Fried coming on next week, and then the following week, Charlie Crist will be with us. We're going to talk about the state Senate. This is interesting, too. Here in Jacksonville, there's an open seat because Audrey Gibson is leaving. So House Representative Tracy Davis and then City Councilman Reggie Gaffney. This is pretty intense.
Well, it is. And if someone is a registered Democratic voter here in Duval County in State Senate District 5, they know it's a hotly contested race because they've probably gotten a significant amount of mail from the two campaigns or maybe seen the ads on television. But again,
those ads on TV have ramped up.
They really have. Well, and it's that time. We're getting that close to the primary. So that is a hotly contested race between Representative Davis, Council Member Gaffney. Again, that will be decided on August 23rd. People are already voting in all these races, Kent, by mail because mail ballots have gone out and are being returned. Early voting starts on August the 8th and runs through right before Election Day. Then, of course, there's Election Day voting itself on August 23rd.
It's coming soon, and it'll be here before you know it. Also here before you know it, Hand on Government is a segment that we do once a month, about this time every month. So we'll be back right after that primary. We'll get to talk more. Chris Hand, thanks. Good to see you again.
Thank you as always, Ken.
All right, so a trio of candidates involved in the races of August 23rd. That's what we've got on tap for you next week. Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried. Plus, we've got Ken Jefferson and Lakeisha Burton. They are both Democrats running for Jacksonville Sheriff. Interviews with each of them next time on our show. All right, This Week in Jacksonville, we air each Sunday morning at this time. I'm Cat Justice. Thanks for watching on air on Channel 4 and the CW17. And then you'll find episodes online at news4jax.com or streaming on News4Jax Plus.
See why every day more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.